What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Imperfect Action Show. Man, listen, I'm super excited. Before I even bring on the guests, let me tell you guys what this show is about. As you guys already know, on the Imperfect Action Show, what do we do? Right? We talk about principles, concepts, strategies all around business and marketing. We hope to bring you a lot of value in real time so you can then take this value and implement it into whatever you have going on the business side or the marketing side of your business. Today, today's guest, man, is somebody that I recently met, and he's definitely heavy in the NFT space. And he's also someone who decided he wanted to come on as a character, right? The Web3 avatar, which I thought was ingenious. Is going to bring a lot more value and get you guys to actually see what's going to happen and what's currently happening in real time. Ganos, what's up, bro?
Thank you so much for having me, and thanks for being open with the idea of coming on as an avatar, man.
100%, 100%, man. Hold on one second. I just had to fix something over here. The stream was asking me to do something. Yeah, definitely, man. I like, you know, the NFT space is definitely something I'm rapidly learning more about, and I wanted to like literally like immerse myself in it, and then go into Andy's event. I had an opportunity to meet you, connect with Kevin, and a bunch of other people, Kingston and Hector, and a bunch of other amazing people that are in the space and doing real work in the space and moving like right now rapidly in the space. And what's very interesting to me is that though so many people are moving and grooving and making things happen, there's so much of the population that has no idea what's currently happening or what an NFT is, or what crypto is, or in general. So whenever that I could bring someone of your stature on the platform to speak about your experience is a blessing to me and to the community. And hold on a second. Close up.
You didn't freeze up on me. You're okay,
Okay.
on my view.
Cool. All right. So one of the things I like to do is give people the opportunity to learn more about you. So while they're learning more about you and you explaining who you are and what's currently working around in your universe, I'm going to text my community directly to get them more onto the live stream. So why don't you do that? Talk about who you are, what you currently got cooking up, and then we can get into the topic of today's episode.
Yeah, sure, man. And thanks again for trusting me with your platform. I've been following your podcast and your YouTube. I mean, you've been interviewing incredible people. I recently listened to the entrepreneur who was all about building business credit, and
Oh yeah.
that was incredible, man. It's so crazy how that's underlooked, underestimated on how powerful it can be. So thank you, man. It's a hard act to follow, but I'll do my best. But for myself, my real name is Paul. In Web3, I call myself Ganos Badger. It's the mix between Ganon and Thanos, which are like two crazy villains merged together. It's just my video game name. But I'm new to the Web3 NFT space. I'm not originally with a tech background, which I've actually spent about 20 years in the traditional brick and mortar business. I've been anywhere from a restaurant owner, developer, advisor, investor. I've consulted for a lot of different restaurant chains on their growth and their franchising. If you're familiar with like Five Guys Burgers, my company that I worked for, we grew them when they were just 5 stores, just mom and pop operation. We helped them build the infrastructure for franchising and help sell the franchise as well. So, with our work, they ended up, I think they're currently at like 2,000 stores around the world, 15 countries, and they do about $1 billion in sales. It's probably one of our biggest milestones. But I went on and consulted for a couple other brands that were also mom and pop shops. Some of them had 1 store. Some of them didn't even have a store. They were just little food carts. But I was able to help them, turn into, globally well-known names. One brand, I was able to help them go public on the stock exchange, also get acquired by public companies as well. And so all that to say, I've had some good successes in the traditional world. But one thing that frustrated me about restaurants is that we tend to be very slow, and we tend to be really slow to adopt technology. I always joke around, and I'm frustrated, but I joke around by saying, the biggest innovation the restaurant business had in the last few years is like being able to bring up your cash register through an iPad, which is pretty sad. So I wanted to not be the norm and be part of that stigma. So when cryptocurrencies and when Web3 came on and when NFTs came on, I was hypersensitive to at least exploring it. Instead of blowing it off or thinking it's silly or stupid. And I think that's the way everyone feels when they first see a new technology, right? They fear and they hate, or they blow off what they don't understand, or they are deeply rooted in one side of the world, and they refuse to, let go of what they are to be what could be. So I've been enjoying every moment of exploring the Web3 space. I do my work during the daytime, and then at nighttime, I'm just like staying up till 3, 4 in the morning, just learning about these silly JPEGs that are bringing incredible entrepreneurs together, new businesses and new wealth being created. And so, I still have a lot to learn, but it's something I can't ignore. I'm having tons of fun doing it, and I wanted to do my part in contributing to the space. So that's my
Well,
that's my thing.
Well, first of all, man, I want to thank you because, like, even though we just met recently, I've already learned so much from you, and you've already inspired me so much, as far as the NFT is concerned. And another thing, I want to just say, and for the theme of the show and the energy of the show, to take imperfect action. So to be learning and immersing yourself into, the community and the technology around NFT, and to be moving at the pace that you've been moving, and currently obviously having your own NFT project that's available for people to take advantage of is incredible and is super inspiring. And that kind of brings us to today's topic, which obviously is creating an NFT. So I know a lot of people are probably looking at you, looking at the avatar right now, and they're probably flabbergasted, or they probably think like an NFT is way crazier than they probably first imagined. So why don't we just talk about the process of like beginning to getting your mind wrapped around that you can actually have your own NFT project, and then like the subsequent steps one would have to take after that.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to preface that by saying that it's crazy. People still think, it's all about the stories, the wrong stories that people understand about the technology. And just like cryptocurrency, right? Everybody thought it was a scam because all they could think about is these silly meme coins, right? Like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu coin, and they're just so focused on that, but they don't realize that that's just one right underneath all that. There's just so much incredible technology that can change lives under it. It's just so hard to grasp that they grasp to the easiest thing, which is a meme. Same thing with NFTs. Even though you see this avatar here, I'd like to say that it's just like not even 1% of what's possible with the technology under it. Underneath it, artists that have traditionally starved, have not been able to get credit for their work, have been able to build wealth. It's possible through them. This has been acted as a way to build a community together in a way that has never been seen before. And there's just so many other facets, but that'll probably be a different show for another time. And
Yeah, we have to bring Ganos back for that one.
Oh, well, I'd be honored to, man. But as far as NFT being a creator, I think I think there's a lot of people that have the itch to create their own collection. I think it's a wonderful way to get into the space, and but I will preface by saying that building this NFT collection, even though it is a lot of fun and it's so worthwhile, I will say I've spent probably maybe 10 to 12 hours a day just working on this alone.
Mm.
Just creating the art, learning all about how to build a community, how to build collaborations. Uh, you know, there's so many collections out there now. It's so much. You're buried in a sea of a lot of ape collections and so many other and not only that, it's also riddled with a lot of scams as well. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of all the rug pulls and
Yeah.
people who are good at building hype, but after the hype there's no substance, and these people run away with tons of money. I'm glad the government's finally stepping in and tracking these guys down and putting a couple guys behind bars already, which is great for the space. But until then, for every one person that gets caught, there's probably 100 other scams still lingering around. So
Yeah.
I'd say our job is pretty hard as NFT creators, especially small ones. I like to say I represent the small guys, the small creators, kind of like the small businesses. There's always the big Googles and the big Apple blue chip projects like Cool Cats and Bored Ape Yacht Club and the like. But I like to consider myself the Web3 version of small business. It requires that you either know or you at least hire someone who's really good at being a blockchain developer, who knows the language, depending on the blockchain that you choose. I'd say that if you're just getting new to the space, I'd recommend that you'd probably consider Ethereum as the easiest way for people to grasp the concept. And there's so many tools that have already been like developed and available for you to use. I think the necessary evil is. Are you in any Discords at all, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm in a couple of different Discords. Obviously, I'm in yours. Friend's House, right? I just learned about Friend's House last week, so I'm in that one. And then also the Food Fighters Discord. I got into that.
Right on.
And non-NFT related, I happen to be actually. Let me pull it up right now. I'm in an investment community Discord, and I'm also in what's this one called? Oh, Wise Guys, the Wise Guys community on stocks, crypto, and investing.
So you're probably in like 20 different Discords, right?
I'm in like 6.
But it feels like 100, right? With the information flow. I mean, Discord doesn't have to be the only way you build your community, but I'd say Discord is probably the most understood and the most easy to like switch over from different Discords from other communities. So it's like the path of least resistance. And so there's a lot of great YouTube videos and tutorials on how to build a community. I'm happy to chat with any of your audience in case there are tools and free like services and bots that help make onboarding and engaging with the community better. I'm still learning as well. I'm not the best at it, but I have to say I'm pretty proud of my community. Although it's small, they're amazing people. They're also entrepreneurs like me. They've run successful businesses. They are new to the space, and they're looking to learn more. And they're also, intimidated and overwhelmed by all the crazy terminology and concepts and all that. And I'd like to believe our space is a pretty safe place where there are no stupid questions, and we're all trying to learn this together. And I'm just a few steps ahead of the newbies, and anything I can share, I'm happy to do so. Yeah.
And I think that's important. Definitely like not feeling the imposter syndrome, but understanding that you could teach from where you are. And if you continue to learn, you can always teach from that spot from where you are. Because there will always be people that are underneath you as far as like how fast they're digesting information, access to information, and also implementing information. So I think sometimes the imposter syndrome of like, you don't think you know enough or a specialist or whatever will prevent people from acting. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. So let's do a quick little recap and let me know if I missed anything, because I want to make sure that people are tapped in, and we have a couple of questions from the community. So with thinking about creating an NFT, you want to make sure that you have someone that's going to develop the art, right? And then you also have to have the mindset of, okay, how am I going to create a community, or how I'm going to approach this from a community building standpoint, and then also be open to different collaboration opportunities. And then you also mentioned that you want to hire a blockchain developer and also have an understanding of which blockchain that you want to be associated on. Is that correct so far?
That's correct. You got it. Yep.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure that people were following along with us. And also I'll have this information available on a downloadable PDF. So if you guys want access to it, there will be a link below so you can get access to it. So let's take a couple questions real quick.
Sure.
So first of all, Paul, you got a couple shout outs. So you know what I'm saying, definitely want to make sure Simple Dietech said what's up. I don't know if you saw that. But Ty asks, what's the best way to learn more about NFTs? Is there a certain website? Are there certain ones that we should look into?
Yeah, great question, and hi Ty, thank you for tuning in. I'd say that I'd say the biggest authority in this space and who has done an incredible job at making it understandable would be following Gary Vaynerchuk. I mean, he's already incredible business leader on its own, but he's all in on NFTs and he's been able to make it approachable, understandable, real life practicality. I mean, he's been able to give ideas on how to have NFTs apply to restaurant space, to even coaches like consultants as well in real life. And so I recommend that you follow him. I mean, I don't mean to self promote. I really believe in what we're doing, but I also have a YouTube channel as well called The Badger Clan Show. And Kevin, you know, Kevin and I, we do a show every week where we just share things that we learn and try to explain it in like a normie type fashion. Normie meaning, you know, everyday newbies to the space. So
When is that show?
that's every Tuesday at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
At 12
And
p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that'll be 3:30 on the East Coast for you guys that are on the East Coast. And then also 2 p.m. CST for those that are in CST. I just want to make sure you guys have that down. And
yeah,
again, I have that available. I have that information available below for you.
cool.
So how many episodes have you guys come out with so far? So if they wanted to kind of go down a rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah, I recommend you turn it on while you're working or having lunch. But we are on episode 9, and episode 10
Awesome.
is next week. Sorry, tomorrow. And it's an easy website too. It's badgerclan.show. If you go on that, you'll find the website, and there's a bunch of other smaller, you know, short content as well. That I think is helpful too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we got the ARC, got the community collaborations, hire a blockchain developer. Okay, Angela asks, what's the best platform to actually purchase?
Yeah. Hey, Angela, thanks for tuning in. The best platform, I mean, maybe I'd like to argue that there isn't a best platform yet. There's no like Google main platform, Google style yet. I'd say the main one, like the biggest one, is OpenSea,
Mm,
OpenSea.io. That's probably where most of the collections are on. It's easy in that it's just that most of the collections are on there. And as far as platforms are, yeah, I'd say that for Ethereum, that's probably your best route. I mean, I can get into other blockchains have different marketplaces as well, but that's probably getting way too deep. But I'd say if you go to OpenSea.io, you'll be able to kind of at least get a primer on what collections are available and how it's all laid out and how to purchase it. So hope that helps.
We got another question coming in from Simply. What are the most important things to do to prep and keep your wallet safe from getting your coins and NFTs stolen before doing any transaction?
Yeah, that's actually one of the main reasons why I think a lot of adoption has not happened yet. I think a lot of news reports, of course, when the news likes, if it bleeds, it leads, and they like to sell drama. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of scams in the news, and you know, people, you know, collecting a bunch of money and not really showing who they are. The beauty of Web3 is you can be anonymous to protect your identity, but the flip side is you can also take off with people's money as well, unfortunately. You know, Brendan, were you there for the whole talk where Andy and Kevin talked about them being wiped out?
Yeah, yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. A couple of thoughts come to mind. The first one is to number one, just make sure you are double and triple checking the websites that you're going to connect your wallet to, because there's so many different websites that, you know, instead of OpenSea.io, you could accidentally put OpenSea.com, and that ends up being a scammer's website. You know, just little misspellings can really trick you. So you got to be really diligent about that. Another one is, you know, as far as after you collect cryptocurrencies and after you collect NFTs, it's a good habit to transfer them into a cold wallet, like a hard wallet. And you can look them up online. You know, the one I like to use is called Trezor, Trezor. And one extra step is do not buy it from Amazon or Target or any of the reputable stores because um, there's also a scam in them where people are buying them, taking the secret passphrase and then returning it, and hoping that someone else buys the return and they can access it that way.
That's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. There's so many different ways it's been
Yo,
done, man.
yeah, I'll tell you something. These scammers are smart, bro. They like a step ahead, bro.
They are.
They
So
stay a step ahead.
and I think and they also know that people have FOMO and people are also pretty careless or they take it for
Yeah,
granted and they
that's
take
true.
advantage of that. So I know it's a pain in the butt, but until we have better security, just double and triple your work when you're verifying websites. But hope that helps.
That definitely helps. Let me see. Simply also asked, will it be better to go through the wallet's browser to log into the marketplace?
Um, so this means that, like, for example, MetaMask, when you
Yeah.
download MetaMask, it's not just a wallet, but you can also browse on that app as well. It's like a browser. It's like a mini Chrome or Safari inside. I actually don't know the answer. I can research that and find out, but I've always used Chrome and Firefox for all of my stuff. So yeah, sorry, I don't have a better answer for that.
All right, cool. So let me reset the episode real quick, and then I got a couple of questions. So we're on right now with Ganos, my guy Paul. We're talking about how you can create an NFT, some of the basic, mind frames that you need to approach when you're looking to build out a project. We touched on already having the ability to, obviously you want to get the art together. Keep in mind the idea of constantly growing the community, being open and fluid to collaborations, then find a blockchain developer and figure out what blockchain you want to associate your project to. So that's currently where we are. Community, if you have any other questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. I got a couple questions myself that hopefully you guys will be able to pull something from. So let's talk about the wallets real quick. So where are the wallets collected and housed, right? Because obviously there's different wallets. So where are they actually stored?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say that the wallet is it's housed in how do I best explain this for in the normie sense? Because I read like a long white paper on how it's done. But I'd say that the wallets are pretty much housed in decentralized for example, like a wallet in the traditional sense is like you're housing that wallet in like a bank, right? And a bank is centralized. The beauty of blockchain is that it's decentralized, meaning your data, your wallet is being housed and secured over like 100 different location points, so that if one fails, another one will be able. It's like a bunch of like plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, in case anything fails. And there's proof of what you have in there and proof of all your transactions and all your actions. So it's housed on decentralized networks, like decentralized servers. So I know it sounds like a little bit redundant, but you being an entrepreneur, you know that nothing ever really goes as planned.
Yeah.
And the best way to make God laugh is to show him your plans, and to just have a redundancy system. It's just like having insurance. You don't plan on failing, but if it does, you
You
have a
never know.
safety net. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%. So we also have so Ethereum obviously is a very popular blockchain. So why is Ethereum seem to be one of the most popular that people tend to kind of flock to? Why not like a different like a different blockchain system?
yeah,
Like what has made Ethereum so popular? I guess.
yeah, I think this is the business concept of the first mover advantage. I mean, because Ethereum was first to the market,
Mhm.
and it's allowed to be super functional. I think that that's pretty much been the main driving force as to why it's been so widely received.
That makes sense.
Um, yeah, so I mean that's best explanation I can think of. I've done some research on other blockchains like Solana and Phantom and Avalanche and
Yeah.
Tezos and Flow, and and there will continue to be more blockchains, and they do faster transactions. They're cheaper as well, but but it always there's always something magical of being the first to market. So
So we got a couple other questions from the community, but before we even go into those, I hope you guys are actually paying attention to the fact that I'm speaking to a Web3 avatar right now.
You're not crazy, Brendan.
Like I hope you guys are getting this. Like think about all the different animated series that you watch or your favorite cartoons, and like think about like how they even make movies now, and it seems like those characters are really in real life with the actual humans, right? This is like what's actually going on during this episode. So like I just want you guys to absorb what's happening in real time, because this is not like just like a gimmick or it's fun for today's episode, but like the world is really moving this direction. So this is going to be way more common. So I just wanted to point that out to make sure you guys realize that. So real quick, simply had a couple other questions. So I definitely want to make sure that we address those. Is utilities one of the main thing we need to pay attention to when getting an NFT? The use of the utility that the NFT may be associated with.
Yeah, great question. I think it depends. It depends on what you are looking for. There are some collections where there isn't a lot of utility and people just love the art so much. Sometimes people can just appreciate the art or they want to support an amazing artist that they're a big fan of. Or they just want to be in a community of people who just appreciate that same art. And if that is the expectation, then that's all that's needed. However, for crypto badgers, I, I I can't. I feel like it's not enough to rely on just good vibes and cool art or just cute art. I come from the entrepreneurial background, and I just wanted in a mission to make NFTs a little more approachable for people new to the space. I did want to make sure my utility was focused on building education programs to help people enter the space safely and rewardingly. Teach introductory stuff on how to build wealth with NFTs. There's this new concept called DeFi, which is decentralized finance, where traditionally banks make all the money off tiny transactions, but because of the technology, now you can be the bank and you can actually, make money off of that. And also, a lot of my community are entrepreneurs, and so I actually am creating tools to help them thrive in their own business, not just in Web3. And so, yeah, those are my utilities in a general sense. But for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club. I mean, their utility is, just like Andy, you can use the intellectual property. You can actually do whatever you'd like with it as long as it's on brand, and you're able to build businesses with it. You're able to build restaurants using the intellectual property. You can, build a fashion clothing line with it. And so, yeah, I'd say utility is probably, as the years go by, you're probably going to have more projects focused on utility than just art itself.
100%. Like when you really think about it, I think that the IP is so incredible, because most people just think about collecting. They're not necessarily thinking about, okay, now that I actually own the IP of this NFT, what are the constraints on what I can't do, but what are the possibilities that I can do, which is going to allow you to use your imagination and actually assimilate that in real life. And I think a really great example of that and a fun example of that is what Andy and Kevin and the partners are doing, with Bored and Hungry restaurant, which I
Yeah.
think is incredible. So I know we winding down, but I wanted to get the rest of these questions out because I want to make sure we give a lot of value to the community. So I simply has another question. Do we need to have one virtual wallet as safekeeping, or should we have multiple?
Great question. I think that, just like the idea of having backup plans, I think it is smart to have maybe two to three wallets. And one good best practice would be a lot of my friends who are a little bit ahead of me in the NFT space. They recommend having one wallet to mint and to buy things, and then one to actually house them,
So
because
real quick, before you
yeah.
continue, can you just go into minting versus like what is minting for those that not sure what minting is?
Yeah. So minting, I think of it just like minting a coin, like you're building something for the first time. I like to say that think of like a basketball card. Minting means that it's fresh off the printer. you've bought it right at the printer, like direct from the source. Whereas buying it means that it's already been packaged in a pack of basketball cards, and you're buying it there, or you're buying it on eBay, or from in the secondary marketplace. Um, is how I explain it.
That makes sense. I mean, I totally get that, but I just wanted to make sure people are staying in touch with some of the terminology that's in the space.
Yeah.
Um, so simply also asks, how do we get a Web3 avatar? How do we actually adopt a badger? And you and I talked about it offline, so I'm actually about to get my own. But yeah, explain to them how they can get a Web3 avatar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just going on my website and minting the badger, minting aka adopting the badger. So it's cryptobadgerclan.com. One of the utilities, and this is more of like a fun utility, is, oh, maybe not fun, maybe there's more usefulness, but everybody who does mint a badger also gets uh, as long as you have Adobe Character Animator. We do have a team that will build the avatar to move, to open and close their eyes, to laugh, to speak, just like I'm doing it right here. That's specific to their badger. You can also have one custom made as well. And if you, as long as you have a badger, you can mint a custom one that has your attributes, or let's say, Brandon, if you're known to have like your hat backwards, and you have a certain like characteristic of your brand, you're always wearing a hoodie, then we can create a badger that's always wearing a hoodie and wearing a hat.
That already sounds like me.
Yeah, and we can have that as a talking badger as well, and that's something that's included as just being a holder. So just some fun value add. And I guess usefulness is also if you want to stay anonymous, or if you just want to make your your Zoom or your interviews more fun anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to do that. So we're gonna do that anyway. So guys, we're about to wrap up. We're a couple minutes over time, which is I'm fine with. So I hope Paul is cool with that too.
I am.
We're talking about creating an NFT, utilities, the basic elements of your mindset, how you need to approach that. Some of the basic things that you actually need to make sure that you have, like a blockchain developer, someone to actually create the art if you're not creating the art yourself. Building a community, which should be number one, regardless if you are entering the NFT space or not, and then also being open to collaborations and fun and exciting ones. In obviously giving to the community, not just looking to take from the community. So really quick, Paul, I dropped your Instagram in the chat, but let them know again where they can follow you, where they can follow the project, how they can purchase one of your NFTs, which you and I are going to do, because I'm definitely going to jump into the Badger Clan. So how can they get involved? How can they follow what you got going on? And maybe even drop your Discord channel below. I'll throw it all in the chat and put it at the bottom of the caption so they can tap in.
Oh, well, thank you so much again, man. I'd say I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. If you do follow Paul T. Tran on Instagram or Twitter, all the links that I'm involved with are all in my bio. There's the Discord link, the YouTube channel, the website to mint, the website to learn more about the Badger Clan. All that stuff is available on my bio. So I think just that one link to follow me on Instagram or Twitter will do the trick.
Hey man, well, Ganos, thanks a lot for stopping by the episode. Paul, I really, really appreciate you, man, for taking the time out. Making it happen so quickly, because we talked about this over the last few days, and then we're able to make it happen, and then making it happen in a real way that I think is making a visual impact as far as informational impact. If you guys missed anything, make sure that you stay tuned for the replay, and run it back, share it, comment. Make sure you follow Paul, cryptobadgerclan.com. Follow him on Twitter, Paul T. Tran, so you can learn, what he currently has going on and what's about to happen in the next couple of months. I really, really appreciate you, man. Look forward to bring you back on the show. And then hopefully next time you're on the show, I'll have my avatar so we can go back and forth, which I think would be crazy.
I'll reveal my face and we'll reverse it, man. Because I know you got so much. I know the interviewers always have the most insights and wisdom. So I'm gonna flip it around and interview you if that's cool.
Hey man, that sounds great, bro. I haven't been a guest on my own show yet, but I welcome it. So if we look forward to bringing you on, maybe we could do that in May. I think that'll be a good time.
Cool.
With a lot of episodes between now and then, there'll probably be a lot of changes you got going on with the direction of actually who's in the project, how many NFTs may still be available, more things that you're going to be learning, more things that's going to be use case utilities as part of the project. So definitely looking forward to that. And you guys make sure you follow Paul on Twitter, on Instagram, follow Crypto Badger Clan. If you want to grab an NFT, join me as part of the Crypto Badger Clan and Paul. And yeah, definitely look forward to more NFT information on this show. And if this is your first time, like Paul said, hit up YouTube, type in Gary V NFT, and start watching some of the videos so you can get more up on what's actually happening in real time. So whether you're going to take advantage of it now, it's going to be around and it's already moving. I saw this video actually this morning, Paul. You may have seen this one.
Mm-hmm.
Gary was talking about how he made $91 million in 24 hours from an NFT. He made 41 on the front end, and he made 50 million on the back end of people's reselling it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's
which
amazing.
Is crazy. So that just shows you the power, right?
Yeah, he used he's been in the business world for decades, and so people trust him, and so he can command that premium. Not only that, the utility is incredible because everybody wants to be around Gary V's power and his insights and his energy, and the people who go to his conventions are like high quality people. So people who buy the NFT, perfect utility right there. They get admission into his conferences. And so it doesn't have to be crazy technologically advanced as that than just being able to access an authority in the business world. And not only that, that's a proof of the ability for artists to continue getting royalties. Right now artists don't get royalties after their first artwork is sold, right? But Gary's been able to get royalties on every time something gets sold. And that's how wealth is built, right? Passive income and royalties. And so that's a perfect use case.
100%, man. Well, Paul, I thank you. You guys tune in tomorrow. It's going to be another amazing Imperfect Action Show. This is episode number 26. Man, I can't believe at the end of the week, we're going to be at episode 30. So I'll see you guys soon. Check you guys out tomorrow. Make sure you guys follow Paul T. Tran on Twitter and Instagram. All right? Peace.
Thank you, everyone.